The galaxy had many rulers, but none were like the humans. Most species lived for hundreds of years. Most species valued tradition, hierarchy, and control. Humans lived fast. Humans adapted faster. Humans learned, thought, and fought in ways no one expected. And for that reason, the Council thought they could control humanity easily. In a shining tower on the capital planet of the Council, a young human child sat in a glass chamber. The child's name was Alex, only 10 years old, yet already showing signs of incredible intelligence. The Council saw humans as weak, emotional, and reckless. They had invited humans to join the Galactic Council to teach them order, but secretly, they wanted to test them. The test had gone horribly wrong for the humans. Alex sat quietly, watching the alien scientists adjust the machines around the chamber. They whispered to each other in strange clicks, growls, and musical tones that Alex could not understand. The machines hummed with a cold, blue energy. The Council had no intention of killing Alex. That would have been too easy. Instead, they wanted to break the child's mind. But Alex did not break. The first experiment began with questions designed to confuse. The alien scientists asked impossible riddles, math problems that spanned entire star systems, and questions about feelings they believed humans could not understand. Alex answered calmly, not just correctly, but in ways that surprised even the aliens. One alien leaned over and hissed, "This child, it learns too fast." The child smiled faintly. That smile was small, almost invisible, but it carried a warning the Council did not understand. Alex was paying attention, watching, learning. Meanwhile, on Earth, the human delegation waited for news. The messages from Alex had stopped suddenly, replaced with static and strange, garbled signals. But humans never gave up. Not ever. Captain Lyra Chen, the commander of Earth's diplomatic fleet, paced her ship's command deck. "Something is wrong," she said to her second-in-command. "We've lost contact with Alex. That is not normal. The Council doesn't, the Council should. This is not diplomacy." Her crew looked nervous. Humans were famous for their resilience, but even they feared the power of the Council. Billions of alien worlds answered to them, and they had weapons that could destroy entire planets. But Lyra Chen had something the Council did not fully understand. Humans never give up on their own. Back in the chamber, Alex noticed something else. A hidden vent, a tiny crack in the wall, and a faint energy signal running through the floor. It was a weakness, a flaw in the Council's perfect system. Alex studied it carefully, memorizing every detail. Every night while the aliens slept, Alex touched the panels, pushed buttons they did not expect, and quietly learned the Council's systems. The aliens believed Alex was broken. They believed the child was scared and powerless. But in truth, Alex was planning. Then the first shock came. The Council called a meeting of all the world's leaders. They believed the humans would beg for mercy. They believed the humans would surrender. The hologram of Alex's chamber appeared in the meeting room, projected above the largest council table in the galaxy. The council expected fear, tears, and weakness. Instead, Alex spoke. "I hear you," said the child, voice calm, strong. "And I understand everything." Gasps echoed across the council chambers, not because of fear, but because Alex had learned their language, their codes, their secrets. The child had spoken in multiple alien tongues, some not even recorded in human databases. Captain Lyra Chen, watching the broadcast from her ship, clenched her fists. She knew the child was more than a human. Alex was a symbol, a spark, and sparks could start fires. Across the galaxy, humans began preparing quietly. They built ships, calculated trajectories, and trained fleets. The Council believed humans were naive and slow. They had never fought a species that could adapt as quickly, think as cleverly, and work as united. On the Council worlds, they celebrated. "The humans will obey us now," said one alien lord. "They are weak. They are children." The first human attack fleet was ready. Not massive, not even close to the Council's numbers, but fast, precise, and unpredictable. Captain Lyra Chen looked at her officers and said, "We are not here to negotiate. We are here to remind them what happens when they hurt one of ours. One child, millions of years of pride, none of it matters if you underestimate humans." The fleet jumped to the first Council system. No alarms, no warnings. They moved like shadows. Meanwhile, Alex continued to study. Every experiment, every test, every question from the aliens. Alex memorized it, understood it, and prepared for the day when humans would strike. The child discovered how to manipulate systems remotely, sending tiny pulses that interfered with the experiments. The Council could not understand why their machines occasionally malfunctioned, why reports from their scientists were flawed. Only Alex knew the truth. Human ingenuity was working quietly, invisibly, like a virus inside their perfect machine. The humans attacked the first weapons depot quietly. Alien sensors were fooled by tactics no species had ever seen before. Humans destroyed the depot without a single human casualty. Ships disappeared into hyperspace only to appear behind alien fleets, striking with deadly precision. News of the strike spread across the Council systems. Panic spread faster than any laser fire. The aliens did not understand humans. They had believed that intelligence without patience was weak. They had believed that physical strength alone determined victory. They had believed emotion made humans foolish. But humans had unity, adaptability, and cunning. Alex was no longer just a child. Alex was a commander, a hacker, a strategist. From the chamber, the child manipulated systems, guided ships, and sent coded messages to Earth fleets. The Council thought their strongest weapons could crush humans. Instead, humans were using their weapons against them. The first Council world fell, not destroyed, not killed, but captured. Humans controlled the energy grids, communications, and defenses. The aliens panicked. They tried to negotiate. They tried to intimidate. But humans did not care about their threats. Humans cared about justice, protection, and proving their strength. On the bridge of the human flagship, Captain Chen watched the operation unfold. "They think we are weak," she said quietly. "They will learn. They will all learn." Back on the Council capital, an alien scientist stomped in frustration. The child is everywhere. The systems, the signals, nothing works right." Alex smiled faintly. The child had predicted this. The Council had made one mistake. They had assumed humans were like other species. They had assumed humans could be intimidated. They had assumed humans would wait, hesitate, or cry. But humans never gave up on their own. And this was only the beginning. The first world burned under human control, not with death but with the brilliance of human strategy. Alien leaders began whispering fears to one another. "We cannot predict them. We cannot stop them. We do not understand humans." Alex leaned against the glass wall of the chamber watching the chaos unfold. In a soft voice, barely audible, the child said, "This is only the spark. The fire is coming." And across the galaxy, humans prepared, ships fueled, minds focused, hearts ready. The Council had made one fatal mistake. They had underestimated what it meant to harm a human child, because humans did not forget. Humans did not forgive. And humans burned brighter than any star when defending their own. The first sparks of humanity's revenge had set fire to one Council world. But that was only the beginning. Across the galaxy, alien leaders were whispering in panic, questioning their own strategies. The humans were fast, unpredictable, and clever, traits no species in the Council had truly understood. And at the center of it all was the child, Alex, still captive but more dangerous than any fleet or weapon. Captain Lyra Chen stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Resolute, watching streams of holographic data. Her fleet had grown quietly since the first strike. Ships built in secret, equipped with human-designed technology, now moved like shadows through Council space. The aliens had never faced opponents who could learn and adapt as quickly as humans did. "Sensors show Council reinforcements moving towards Solara Prime," said Lieutenant Rizal, scanning the maps. "They think we will be slowed down." "They're wrong," Chen said calmly. Her eyes gleamed. "We never move the way they expect. Not now, not ever. Prepare the fleet for hyperjump. We strike where they least expect it." Meanwhile, in the Council's capital tower, the scientists were growing frantic. Alex had learned to manipulate the control panels subtly. Power conduits malfunctioned at precise intervals. Communications were scrambled, and small systems in the Council fleets failed for reasons no alien engineer could explain. "This child, it is everywhere," hissed one of the counselors, a tall, scaled alien with black eyes. "Every system compromised. It is impossible." Alex sat quietly in the glass chamber, watching the panic unfold. The child had memorized the Council's protocols, their codes, and their habits. Every move the aliens made, Alex had predicted it. Every weakness had been noted, and every secret would soon serve humanity's fleet. The next strike was planned meticulously. Humanity did not aim to destroy entire planets. That was unnecessary. Instead, they aimed for precision, strategy, and disruption. Their targets were communications hubs, energy grids, and weapons depots, the tools the Council used to dominate the galaxy. The humans struck first at Arvanes, a Council world known for its military production. Fleets of ships appeared suddenly from hyperspace, moving faster and in formations no alien commander had ever seen. Using decoys, fake signals, and rapid maneuvers, the humans bypassed defenses effortlessly. Lasers and plasma cannons that had devastated thousands of species bounced harmlessly off holographic shields. On Arvanes, panic spread quickly. Council soldiers had trained for centuries, but they were no match for human speed, coordination, and ingenuity. Entire weapons depots were disabled without a single human casualty. The human fleet moved like a storm, striking, vanishing, and reappearing elsewhere before the aliens could regroup. The child, Alex, guided these movements secretly. Using hacked Council communication lines, subtle pulses, and encoded messages, Alex ensured that every strike was perfectly timed. The aliens believed their systems were failing naturally, not realizing that one human child was orchestrating their chaos from a small glass chamber. "This is impossible," shouted a Council admiral, slamming his clawed hand against the console. "Our fleets are stronger, faster, more experienced. How can they?" "They are humans," one of his subordinates said quietly. "We thought they were weak. We thought they could be controlled, but we were wrong." Back on Earth, celebrations were quiet but fierce. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, preparing more ships, refining weapons, and developing strategies based on each Council weakness the fleets discovered. Humans adapted faster than the aliens could even comprehend. The galaxy's most powerful races had never faced an enemy that learned from every move, every tactic, and every mistake, and responded faster than anyone could anticipate. The next target was a planet called Trelara. Trelara had been a central hub for Council diplomacy and trade, filled with alien merchants, soldiers, and bureaucrats. Humans could have bombarded it easily. But instead, they used precision strikes, sabotaging energy grids and communications, cutting off reinforcements, and forcing Council leaders to surrender without bloodshed. Alex watched the broadcast of Trelara's capture with a faint smile. The child had predicted exactly how the Council leaders would respond: panic, confusion, and internal conflict. Humans did not need to destroy worlds to win. They needed to show the Council that humans were unpredictable, brilliant, and unstoppable. Even within the Council, divisions were growing. Some leaders called for negotiations, while others demanded total retaliation. The fear of humans, once dismissed, now dominated every discussion. The aliens had never seen humans fight with such unity and intelligence. Captain Chen gave orders to the fleet. We do not waste resources on unnecessary destruction. Our goal is to teach them a lesson. Every action should demonstrate that humans cannot be underestimated. Her officers nodded. Humans valued lives, even alien lives, more than the council expected. But they also valued justice, and they were not afraid to act when justice demanded it. The child's influence continued to grow. Alex had begun subtly sabotaging council weapons, redirecting power flows, and sending coded messages to human fleets. Every strike became more effective, every plan more flawless. The council, confident in its technology and experience, was slowly unraveling under the weight of human ingenuity. On Arvanis, a council warlord confronted the child through a communication link. "You are just a human child," he sneered. "You cannot stop us." "Your people are weak." Alex looked into the screen, calm and composed. "Weak?" the child asked softly. "You think we are weak because we are small. You think we are weak because we are young. But you are wrong. You see the fire in us now, and it is only the beginning." The council fleet hesitated. Humans had destroyed, captured, and outsmarted multiple worlds in a short span of time. Their tactics were new, unexpected, and terrifying. Commanders no longer trusted their own officers. Doubt spread faster than fear. Humans then struck the council's main supply lines. Ships that were supposed to resupply fleets vanished in hyperspace, trapped by humans who had studied every jump protocol. Communications between council worlds failed. The aliens realized that their systems, once perfect, were now vulnerable in ways no one had predicted. On Earth, analysts watched every council reaction. Each movement, each panic, each failed counterattack was a lesson. Humans learned faster than the council could anticipate. Each victory, though measured and precise, built a story across the galaxy. Humans cannot be controlled. Humans do not forget. Humans never surrender. The next council world, Solara Prime, prepared for battle. Thousands of council ships gathered, confident that they could crush the humans once and for all. But Captain Chen and her fleet had already anticipated this. Using tactics designed to confuse, mislead, and outmaneuver, humans struck from multiple angles at once. Energy shields faltered. Weapon systems misfired. Entire fleets found themselves trapped in human-controlled zones before they even realized the danger. Solara Prime cities were not destroyed. Instead, they were immobilized, communications jammed, and military bases rendered useless. Humans had demonstrated a simple truth. Strength is not always measured by size or firepower. It is measured by intelligence, courage, and adaptability. Inside the council chambers, fear turned to panic. Leaders shouted over each other, trying to find a solution, but there was none. Humans had moved faster than they could react. Every plan the council devised had already been anticipated by one human child and executed by fleets of determined humans. Alex, still in the glass chamber, finally allowed a small, satisfied smile. The child had predicted every council move, every fleet deployment, and every panic reaction. The council had underestimated humans, and now the galaxy was learning the consequences. Captain Chen looked out at the fleet, calm, determined. "They thought they could control us," she said softly. "They thought we would beg. They thought we would break. They were wrong. They always underestimate humans, and they always will." Humans had struck not to destroy, but to warn. They had shown the council that their mistakes had consequences. The galaxy was beginning to understand a truth long denied. Humans are not to be underestimated, not ever. As the stars burned with the light of human-controlled fleets, Alex whispered to the empty chamber, "This is only the start. The fire is spreading. And soon, the council will learn what it truly means to provoke humanity." Across council space, the alien leaders began to fear, not weapons, not fleets, but humans themselves. And that fear, more than any laser or plasma cannon, was humanity's greatest weapon. The galaxy had never seen humans fight like this. The Council, once confident in its power, now trembled at the mere mention of the human name. Entire fleets had fallen, planets had been immobilized, and chaos spread across Council-controlled systems. Yet, humanity was far from done. The real storm was about to begin. Captain Lyra Chen stood on the bridge of the Resolute, looking at the holographic maps. Council fleets were regrouping near Solara Prime, attempting to mount a counterattack. They believed their numbers and experience would finally crush the humans. But humans were not like other species. Humans adapted. Humans learned. Humans struck where others would never think to look. Lieutenant Rizab pointed to a cluster of Council ships. They are trying to trap us in the quadrant near Solara Prime. They think they have us surrounded. Chen smiled faintly. Good. Let them think they understand us. They don't. Prepare the fleet for multi-vector jump. We hit them from 3 points at once. The Council fleets, massive and confident, prepared to engage. Thousands of ships, bristling with weapons, lined up in formations that had destroyed countless enemies before. But humans did not follow expected patterns. The Resolute and its fleet moved like shadows, splitting into smaller units, confusing sensors and striking at weak points. From the glass chamber on the Council capital, Alex watched carefully. The child had learned the Council's command structure, their fleet formations, even their decision-making patterns. Every move the aliens made, Alex had predicted. Using hacked channels, the child guided the human fleet, sending precise instructions that no alien could anticipate. "Do you see them?" Alex whispered, voice calm and firm. "They believe numbers win. They believe tradition wins, but we know differently." The first human strike hit the Council fleet's supply ships. Without supplies, fleets became immobile. Weapons could not recharge, shields failed, and coordination collapsed. Alien admirals shouted orders, but their commands were delayed, scrambled, or misdirected. Alex had ensured it. "Impossible," bellowed a Council admiral, his claws gripping the console. "How can a single species move so fast? How can they know every step before we take it?" "They are humans," hissed another, a small, feathered alien with bright eyes. "They do not fight like others, they think differently, faster, smarter." Captain Chen gave orders calmly. "Now we take the center of their formation, focus on their command ships. Leave everything else in confusion. Precision over destruction. Let them see that humans are unstoppable when united." The human fleet moved like a storm, striking from 3 directions simultaneously. Council ships tried to regroup but found themselves blocked by unexpected maneuvers. Communications failed. Sensors malfunctioned. Entire formations fell apart. Humans struck with precision, disabling weapons and shields without killing unnecessary civilians or soldiers. The child, Alex, monitored every strike. From the chamber, the child manipulated control systems, rerouted power flows, and sent encrypted instructions to human hackers aboard the fleet. Every Council attempt to recover failed. "This child, it controls the battlefield without leaving the chamber," shouted a Council admiral. "It is impossible." Meanwhile, humans infiltrated the Council's network. Tiny drones, disguised as standard maintenance units, moved undetected through Council systems. They fed information back to Alex and the human fleet, revealing weaknesses in weapons, shields, and communication arrays. The Council's own technology was turned against them. On Solara Prime, citizens watched as fleets moved above their cities, energy shields shimmering, weapons inactive but ready. Fear spread but not panic. Humans did not strike civilians unnecessarily. They demonstrated power with discipline, precision, and a clear message. Harm humans and you will face consequences, but humanity fights with honor. Captain Chen turned to her officers. "They believe terror will work. It won't. We fight smarter. We fight together. We strike where they least expect it, and we win because we adapt." Across Council space, leaders debated in desperation. Some wanted to surrender. Others wanted to escalate, fearing that showing weakness would lead to complete humiliation. But it was already too late. Humanity had changed the game. The Council could no longer rely on old strategies or sheer numbers. Humans had introduced unpredictability, ingenuity, and relentless coordination into the battlefield. The turning point came when the humans targeted the Council's command planet, the heart of their fleet operations. Alex guided a small team of elite human operatives through secret hyperspace routes, bypassing heavy defenses. Infiltrating the planet's command centers, they disabled central communications and neutralized energy cores. Entire fleets waiting for orders were left in chaos, unsure of what to do next. From the glass chamber, Alex transmitted instructions to the main fleet. "Now," the child said, "strike with everything you have. Confuse, disable, immobilize. Show them humans are not to be underestimated." The human fleet moved as one. Council ships, though larger and more powerful individually, were overwhelmed by tactics they had never seen. Humans used multi-vector strikes, feints, decoys, and sudden jumps, always striking at weak points, always anticipating the Council's countermeasures. Entire fleets surrendered without a fight, realizing they could not win against humans' intelligence, coordination, and adaptability. On the Council capital, panic reached a peak. Leaders shouted over each other, demanding new strategies, new weapons, new fleets. But humans had already prepared for every possibility. Every attack, every feint, every plan the Council devised had been predicted and countered. Alex finally smiled. The child had predicted this moment. The Council's fleets were trapped, their leaders humiliated, their systems compromised. Humans did not need to destroy to win. The Council's arrogance had already led to their downfall. Captain Chen addressed her fleet, her voice calm and resolute. "Today, we show them humans are not just strong. We show them humans are clever, united, and unstoppable. Every move, every strike, every decision proves that we will not be underestimated. Not ever." And then, as the fleets moved to secure victory, a new realization hit the Council leaders. Humans did not fight like anyone else in the galaxy. They were not predictable. They were not controlled by fear or tradition. They were united by courage, ingenuity, and the relentless will to protect their own. Alex, still in the chamber, whispered, "This is only the beginning. The galaxy will remember what it means to harm a human. They will learn, slowly or quickly, that we do not forget. We do not forgive, and we never lose." By the end of the battle, entire Council fleets were captured or disabled. Planets once thought secure under the Council's control were now under human influence, not destroyed, but immobilized. Humans had shown that they could strike decisively, intelligently, and with honor. Across the galaxy, whispers began among the Council worlds. "We misjudged them. We underestimated humans. We were wrong." Captain Chen and her fleet returned to a temporary base in space, not to celebrate, but to plan the next moves. Humanity had won a turning point, but the Council was not yet defeated. The child, Alex, had become a symbol of intelligence, strategy, and resilience. A single human child had guided fleets, outsmarted leaders, and reshaped the course of the galaxy. On the bridge of the Resolute, Chen looked out at the stars. They thought this was a game of numbers. They thought size and power mattered more than ingenuity. They were wrong. They will learn, as all others have, that humans fight differently, and they will fear us, not just for what we have, but for what we can become. Alex, watching from the chamber, nodded slightly. The child's mind was already moving ahead, planning the final moves, preparing to end the Council's arrogance once and for all. The galaxy had felt the storm. The fire was spreading, and soon every Council world would know the price of underestimating humanity. The Council had underestimated humans. That mistake had cost them fleets, worlds, and credibility. Every system that had once bowed to the Council now whispered of human power, Not just brute force, but intelligence, adaptability, and relentless courage. And at the center of this story stood Alex, a child who had become the symbol of humanity's unstoppable will. Captain Lyra Chen stood on the bridge of the Resolute, surrounded by the leaders of the human fleet. Every face reflected a mix of determination, exhaustion, and pride. Humans had achieved something no one thought possible. They had brought the mighty council to its knees without needlessly killing millions. Yet the mission was not complete. One final strike remained. One decisive blow that would reshape the galaxy's future. Today, Chen said, voice firm and steady, we do not fight for revenge. We fight for justice, for every human harmed, for every act of arrogance and cruelty. Today, the Council learns a lesson it will never forget. Every world they controlled will know what it means to underestimate humanity. The fleets moved in silent coordination, each ship aware of its role. Every captain had trained, planned, and anticipated the unexpected. Humans were predictable only in one way: their unity. They moved as one, striking with intelligence and courage, while the Council scrambled desperately to respond. On the Council capital, leaders convened frantically. "We cannot allow them to reach the core," shouted one scaled alien, claws slamming against the table. "Our fleets must destroy them before they breach the capital." "But they already control half our fleets," another argued. "Every attack we plan is anticipated. Our systems betray us. The humans are not just strong, they are clever, adaptive, unstoppable." Alex, still in the glass chamber, watched every move. The child had predicted this moment, had foreseen the Council's panic and hesitation. Using hacked communication channels, Alex guided human forces precisely, coordinating attacks that disabled key systems, diverted fleets, and created confusion among alien leaders. "This is it," Alex whispered, voice calm but powerful. "The Council's arrogance ends today. We finish this and they will never forget." The human fleet approached the Council's command hub, a massive space station at the heart of their empire. It was heavily defended, with thousands of ships, energy shields, and automated weapon platforms. To the Council, it was impregnable. To humans, it was another challenge, another opportunity to prove their ingenuity. Captain Chen gave orders: split the fleet, half distract, half strike the core, use the hyperjumps and decoys, keep them guessing. Precision is key. No unnecessary destruction. The galaxy must see we fight with honor. The humans moved. Fleets split into multiple vectors, emerging unexpectedly from hyperspace. Decoy ships led Council forces into traps. Shields flickered. Lasers missed. Energy weapons malfunctioned. The Council's most advanced fleets were falling into confusion not because of brute force, but because humans anticipated every move. Alex activated the final stage of their plan. From the chamber, the child hacked into the Council's main command network. Systems blinked, alarms rang, and Council leaders panicked as their own ships were turned against them. Communications failed, power grids collapsed, and entire defense arrays shut down. The Council had never faced anything like this. Their advanced technology, their experience, their numbers, they meant nothing. Humans were unpredictable, brilliant, and united. Every attack that the Council tried to coordinate failed. Every strategy humans anticipated and countered. On the ground, Council citizens watched the skies. Ships hovered above the cities, energy shields visible, weapons aimed, yet no indiscriminate destruction occurred. Humans struck only what was necessary, immobilizing war machines, neutralizing fleets, and showing control rather than chaos. "This is not war as we know it," whispered a Council citizen to a neighbor. "These humans, they fight with a mind we cannot match. They fight with honor and brilliance. We were wrong to fear them lightly." Captain Chen led the main strike force to the heart of the capital station. Alien fleets tried to resist, but without communication or coordination, their efforts were futile. Humans struck precisely at power cores, control hubs, and weapon systems. One by one, Council defenses fell, not with destruction but with the precision of a surgeon's hand. Inside the chamber, Alex finally acted to free themselves. Using a combination of hacked systems and clever manipulation of security protocols, the child opened the glass doors, stepping into the control corridors. The council guards hesitated, confused and terrified, as Alex moved calmly among them. One by one, they surrendered, realizing that brute force would not work. Humans had shown them that intelligence and courage mattered more than fear and weapons. Alex reached the main command room, standing before the council leaders. Their presence was small but commanding, their calm voice resonating through the chamber. "You believed we were weak," Alex said. "You believed you could harm us without consequence. You were wrong. Humanity does not forgive, does not forget, and never underestimates what is rightfully ours." The council leaders looked stunned. Their fleets were defeated, their technology compromised, their authority shattered. And all of it had been achieved by humans, humans who valued intelligence, strategy, courage, and honor. Captain Chen joined Alex, standing beside the child. "This is not vengeance," she said firmly. "This is a lesson. The galaxy must understand what it means to underestimate humans. Every attack you made against us, every cruelty inflicted, has consequences." The council leaders bowed in defeat, not out of respect, but because they understood the truth. Humanity had won. Not through sheer destruction, but through intelligence, planning, adaptability, and courage. The galaxy had learned that humans could not be trifled with. Across the council systems, fleets surrendered. Worlds once controlled by alien rulers fell under human influence, but not in chaos or destruction. Humans demonstrated order, fairness, and precision. Their reputation spread like wildfire. A species not to be underestimated, a species united and brilliant. Alex looked out at the stars, calm but determined. "The fire has spread," the child said softly. "They will remember, the galaxy will remember, and humans, we will always stand together." Captain Chen placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The galaxy will learn to respect humans, but we must remain vigilant. Other threats will come, other challenges, but nothing will ever break us, not if we fight together." The council leaders were given a choice: surrender completely and accept new rules dictated by humanity, or face permanent isolation from the rest of the galaxy. Many chose surrender, knowing that humanity's power was not just physical, but intellectual, moral, and strategic. Humans had proven that they could outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast any opponent. In the days that followed, the galaxy began to change. Council systems once ruled by fear and hierarchy now respected humans. Traders, scientists, and citizens whispered of the small child who had guided fleets, outsmarted leaders, and reshaped history. Alex became a symbol, not just for humans, but for the idea that intelligence, courage, and unity could overcome even the most powerful adversaries. Captain Chen addressed her fleet one final time. "We fought with honor. We acted with intelligence. We proved that humans are a force not to be underestimated. Let the galaxy remember this day, and let every future enemy think carefully before challenging us. We do not forgive easily, and we do not forget." Alex, standing quietly beside her, looked at the stars and smiled faintly. One child, one species, but together, unstoppable. The council learned the price of arrogance. The galaxy learned the power of humanity. And this is only the beginning of what we can achieve. The humans returned home, not as conquerors, but as a united, respected, and brilliant species. The child, Alex, became a living symbol of the human spirit, clever, courageous, and unstoppable. Across the galaxy, whispers spread: never underestimate humans. They fight differently, they think differently, and they will always prevail when their own are threatened. And in every corner of the Council's former territories, Leaders remembered the lesson they had learned too late. When you harm a human child, humanity will burn. Not blindly, not with chaos, but with intelligence, precision, and fire that cannot be stopped. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity had claimed its rightful place among the stars.